Good to go.
Good to go, everybody.
That's the only one where I was like, I don't know with the contract, I don't want to be.
That's fine.
Are we ready on the screen?
Yes, sir. Good to go.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Madison Fire District June 18th meeting, 7 p.m. Could I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Adams.
Here.
Mr. Anderson.
Here.
Mr. Donaldson.
Here.
Mr. Lee. Mr. Sill. Mr. Wayman.
Here. Mr. Sill had a previous commitment this evening. If you would, please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening. It's not a regular basis that we have a full house here. And this evening we have a special presentation from UH Hospitals. And Mr. Dan Ellenberger will take over here if you're ready, sir, and you can fill us in on tonight's proceedings.
Hi, everybody. I was reminded that it's been a while since I've been here, but I'll try to be here more. So, tonight we're here to celebrate life saving. And it actually really started with urgent care, some great collaboration, and hard work with the Madison Fire District, and then in through the care providers. So I'd really like to introduce Jody Johnson, our president, and Greg Stefano, Dr. Stefano, our cardiologist. They're going to tell the story a little bit. Okay?
Awesome.
Yeah, class to present, a couple of things, all right? So if you guys are all good with that?
Good evening, folks. My name is Jonathan Silvio. I'm the president of the UH Geauga County and Geneva Medical Centers. My privilege to be here tonight. I'm a firefighter, paramedic, turned nurse practitioner, turned executive. So this story is near and dear to my heart. Tonight we're going to portray what we call the chain of survival, and everybody's part is really important to ensure ultimate success so that patients survive. And to lead us through the first part of that story, Jody Calloway is going to come up. She's our chest pain coordinator at UH Geneva and Conneaut Medical Centers. Jody.
Hello. So I'm going to actually call on some people in the room to join in if they would like. I think, as we've already alluded to, this started at our urgent care. So I thought I saw Kathleen walk in. So we're talking about Miss Fleischer, Kathleen Fleischer here. So you can put a name, a face to the story that we're about to tell. So, and Kathleen, please jump in if you'd like to, but my understanding after talking to her is she had a couple of days of just not feeling good. So we're talking about February 13th. So we're still in the midst of flu season. COVID's still going around, but she was just not feeling good. Cough, cold symptoms.
I had a really bad cough, and it was getting to the point where I would cough and I couldn't catch my breath. So I told my mom that I was going to run over to urgent care real quick and get seen.
So time frame, if I understood correctly, we're looking at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the evening that she enters the urgent care. And if any urgent care folks are here that would like to speak up, please do so. But she checked into the urgent care, went up to the window, checked in, and then she sat down waiting for her turn to be seen. Would you like to talk about what happened next?
I really don't know much. As I was getting ready to grab her, I heard my front desk person yelling for my provider. I went out front and she was seizing. I got down on the ground with her and noticed that she had stopped breathing. At that point, my provider yelled for somebody to go get the AED. We started chest compressions, and another person on our team went and got somebody from the squad that was already there. So we got the ball rolling to start compressions and get the EMS team in there as well.
So what's interesting about this was Madison Fire was actually at the urgent care location for another patient at the time. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, your chaser truck or whatever you guys call that. So you had the squad. Chief, I'll let you take it if you want.
Yeah, I'll give a few updates here. So we had a squad there with 3 of our paramedics/EMTs that were taking care of the first patient. When the second patient entered the urgent care, 2 of our members, while one stayed with the patient, peeled off to kind of assist and take in our monitor from our chase truck and started care on the Kathleen that went unresponsive there and went from there. And then we called the second squad in, and that crew eventually ultimately took over care for her.
So in Madison Fire, guys, you guys jump into if you'd like. So my understanding is while you guys were at the urgent care, put her on the monitor, recognized that she was in a ventricular fibrillation rhythm and shocked her. And I think you shocked her 3 times before you got her back into a sinus tachy-rhythm, if I remember the report correctly.
So firefighter Greg Walker and firefighter Jimmy Turek were 2 of the ones that came off of the original call to assist the urgent care to start the care on her. So, Greg, do you remember any of the details or how everything kind of went for you? If you'd like to speak.
I know we walked into the urgent care and it was kind of one of those moments where we see the PA doing CPR. That's not something you see every day when you go into the urgent care. So we knew something was up. We put her on the monitor. We saw she was in VFib. Shocked her a few times. Got her to the sinus rhythm. And she woke up.
In my understanding, when you woke up, you weren't real happy when you woke up.
From what I read, I don't think I was real happy either. I remember gasping for air and somebody telling me that I had just went into cardiac arrest.
So I know again in February you guys called for helicopter transport. I do know that, but our weather in Northeast Ohio didn't accommodate that day. So they did transport her to Geneva, University Hospital's Geneva Medical Center to the ED. Dr. Humphreys in the back there, she was the ED provider that took care of Kathleen when she arrived.
So I was towards the end of my shift. My shift is over at 7, so I was actually trying to wrap up my day, and we got the call from Madison that they were bringing in a cardiac arrest patient, that they had gotten return of spontaneous circulation or loss. When she arrived, she was awake, a little bit confused, but had a really strong pulse, a good blood pressure, and really good vitals. Madison did such an amazing job on her in the field. Because it was the end of my shift, really put in orders, made sure that all of the correct medications were ordered, the imaging and lab work, and then actually handed the case off to the oncoming provider, who then ultimately transferred her to Dr. Stefano.
I guess that's me. So I'm Greg Stefano. I'm one of the cardiologists at Geauga Medical Center. Just hearing this is really everyone's downplaying their roles. I think way too much, especially you guys. It's phenomenal, just unbelievable, life-saving job that you did. But yeah, I mean, so in short, I mean, Kathy had a cardiac arrest, was in the right place at the right time. She was smart to come in, but I think that, you know, Jonathan hit the right words when he says chain of command, you know, and it's a big team, you know, and you being in the right place at the right time, and, you know, these guys saying, oh, we've never seen anyone have an arrest here. I mean, and with everybody just working together and identifying that arrhythmia and working right away to get the AED in a calm scenario saved her life. And what had actually happened, you know, after she got her rhythm back, you transferred her to Geauga to do some more invasive kind of testing to see what was going on. And actually, you know, her heart arteries looked okay. We did a check to see if there was any emergency heart attack kind of thing, and there was no blockage that had caused this, and you know, her heart pump function was actually okay as well, and like this was just a primary arrhythmia that she's very lucky to be alive, and I think I actually haven't seen her for a long time. But I hope you don't mind me putting those words in your mouth, but I'm sure I know you are. And you know, just you know, our first responders, you know, I don't know what word, you know, just the fortitude that you have to be in these life and death situations, you know, and pull them out of it the majority of the time is just remarkable to me. So, thank you from you know, Northeast Ohio community in general, you know, but I guess that's probably a good bow to put on it without you know, revealing too much more unless Kathy wants to
I
say
actually
anything.
wrote
Yeah,
something
yeah.
that I would like to read, if that's okay. Did you have, Jen, can you get it out of my purse, please?
So while they're getting that out of her purse, I do have a couple statistics that I looked up prior to the meeting. So out of hospital cardiac arrests, how often do those occur annually? So the number is 356,000 a year. And out of those, anybody want to take a guess how many survive cardiac arrest? 10,000. So it's 9%. And so 9% survive. Only 7% survive at discharge and look like Kathleen, meaning that they have minimal and no disability after their cardiac arrest. So I think, I know she has said to me a couple times, like, I don't understand what the big deal is. Like, I mean, it's just a cardiac arrest. It's a huge deal because, you know, these things do happen, but to have the outcome, and because of our first responders and our hospital staff, the outcome is the best that we could ever ask for. I'll turn the floor over to you.
I don't do well with public speaking, and I'm going to try and get through this without bawling my eyes out. But I wanted to take a moment. Dear heroes, back in February, my heart stopped. But yours didn't. Because of your quick response, your courage, and your refusal to give up on a stranger, you gave me something I could never repay, my life. I've thought long and hard about what to say to the people who brought me back from the edge of death. No words seem big enough to carry the weight of what I feel. Thank you. Feels too small, but it's all I have, along with every breath I take from this day forward. You didn't just save me. You saved my daughters from the heartbreak of losing their mother too soon. You saved my dogs from sleeping at the door, waiting for someone that wasn't coming home. You spared my mother the pain no parent should ever feel. And you gave my sister and my sisters and my brother the chance to still call me sis. You gave me the chance to watch another sunrise, to go camping with my sister, to laugh with friends, to feel the rain on my skin, to love again, to live. I didn't know your faces, but I know your hearts, strong, brave, relentless. You run towards chaos while the rest of the world runs away. You carry the weight of lives on your shoulders, and that day you carried mine. Please know that you didn't just do your jobs, you changed my world. You're not just first responders, you are the reason I'm here. You are my guardian angels, and for the rest of my days, I will carry your names in my heart, even if I never learn them all. Thank you for showing up, for not giving up, for being exactly who you are.
And building off that, I know Greg and Jim were the first ones in there, but it was a team effort because there was 5 of them total on the call. And I want to recognize Joe Ramasher in the back there, Captain Brian Fallhammer, and Lieutenant Mike Brewer. They were all involved in your care as well on the way to Geneva. So all 5 of them had an impact on your success there. So nice job, everybody.
So I'm going to close the loop, I think, and shoot it back to Dan. Do you want to present their plaques? So we have a couple of plaques here for the station. And it does have the guys' names on it, in recognition of the day of the event, which was February 13th this year. So congratulations and job well done.
The 5.
Okay, I won't forget that.
Dan.
Okay.
We all good?
I think we're good.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Well, I got to say, that was a wonderful presentation, and I'm certainly glad you brought that forward to the district. It's good for the district, and we
This group right here. I had nothing to do with
we
it.
really appreciate it,
Yeah.
Dan.
Great job.
Now, at this time, I believe we're going to take a 10-minute recess. The board has more business to do this evening, but we'll mingle for 10 minutes, and you folks are welcome to stay for the rest of our meeting, or you can move to another room in the station house here and chat some more. So we'll take a 10-minute break. we can continue with the meeting at this point. And the first thing on our agenda is the set of minutes from May 21st, 2025. I would accept the motion from someone to accept the minutes.
Yeah, that motion.
I'll second it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, been motioned and seconded. Any discussion on these minutes? Roll call, please.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes. We have bills this evening, bills and payroll. We have bills in the amount of $87,042.10. We have interest payment of $11,308.26. Payroll of $281,076.95, and that totals out to $379,427.31. Do I hear a motion on the bills and payroll?
You have that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on these items? Roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Okay, is Joanne on by chance? She was going to try to get on the computer, I think, but...
No, sir, only Terry, not the privilege.
Okay, thank you. We have the May financial report, and there's a resolution to amend and approve permanent appropriations. And I don't have that handy.
Would you like me to read it for you, Mr. Chairman?
If you would, please, Madam, what do you call her usually? Madam?
Madam Legal Beagle.
Okay.
It's
Stacy.
Resolution 25-15, a resolution amending and approving the permanent appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Madison Fire District, Lake County, Ohio during the period ending December 31st, 2025.
Okay, this is pretty much to wrap up the budget for the year. So I would entertain a motion to adopt Resolution 25-15.
You have that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Okay, at this time, we'll have our opening public portion. I don't believe anybody's gonna talk unless someone's on the computer.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. We'll move then to legal counsel. Ms. Dame?
Yes, I have a couple of things this evening, just to update the board. The notice of charge and hearing has been presented to one of our employees, and the pre-disciplinary hearing has been scheduled for next Wednesday, June 25th at 7 p.m. here at Station 3. So I would ask the board to just pass a motion to formally set that notice, the day and time here at the station, so that proper notice can go out.
Okay,
You have that motion.
Mr. Lee has made a motion to have the meeting next Wednesday at 7 p.m. here at the station, and this involves personnel.
Right, the pre-disciplinary hearing.
Is there a second on that motion?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Thank you. My next matter is, you can blame your other attorney for this, but I need to request a brief executive session per Ohio Revised Code 121.22 G3 to discuss pending litigation. And then I do have a brief matter involving collective bargaining to discuss a pending grievance under ORC 121.22 G4. So I will request that we adjourn into that later on this evening. But otherwise, that's all from me.
Any questions for the legal?
No.
Okay, thank you, Stacy.
Thank you.
We'll move now to old business. Is there anything to bring up under old business? New business, we have one resolution, and that's to get rid of one of the old Dodge Chargers. It's Resolution 25-16, a resolution declaring certain equipment owned by Madison Fire District as surplus, not needed for public purpose, and obsolete, and authorizing the sale thereof.
Mr. Chairman, just to
Yes.
specify and clarify, this is actually for both Chargers, a 2013 Dodge Charger and a 2014 Dodge
Okay.
Charger. So,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Could we have a motion on 25-16?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Okay. And underneath that, we have Lexipol policies for review. Chief, do you want to discuss that a little?
Yeah, these were the, from talking with Lexipol and working with Howard over there the last few months since we approved it. He recommended we start small with the basic policies in the very beginning. I'm also working on the vision statement, mission statement, core values, and coming up with something that fits Madison Fire for you all to approve eventually. But these are the first four that he recommended we bring to the board for review and possible approval. And they're basically administrative type policies in the very beginning for CEO. I know Ms. Dame has some concerns on a couple of them. I guess the goal would be to, if we could possibly approve a couple of them tonight, then I can start onboarding the staff with training inside the Lexipol system and ecosystem. And then each month or subsequent months, we can start adding a few more here and there because it is a very large document. So we're going to do it in small pieces like we are today, starting with these four. And I'll entertain any questions on these. I think the 100 policy and the 101 with a minor modification would be okay to approve.
I have
Go ahead, you got a question, Bob?
I have
Yeah.
a question on page 2 of policy 100. It's number 100.6, supervisory authority. Any chief officer may relieve a member under his or her command from duty when in his or her judgment the offense committed is sufficiently serious to warrant immediate action. Here's where I have the question. A report of such action shall be made immediately through the appropriate channels to the appropriate captain and chief. I mean, I don't think it... what they're talking about here is a serious offense, and it just can't stay at the captain level.
Mr. Lee, upon my review, that was one of the policies that we were going to hold off on specifically for that section so that we could have some additional discussions as to how we were going to tweak that, not only to address that concern, but also to make sure that it lines up with our collective bargaining agreement and authority outlined in there. So that is one of the ones that we're going to hold off on.
Okay.
I can address the other ones. The oath of office one was fine. I didn't have an issue with that. The notation that I made on the policy concerning the chief executive officer, I would be fine with the board adopting that with the amended provision that with regards to the qualifications that it refer to as additionally outlined or provided in the job description as approved and adopted by the Board of Trustees, because we do have a pretty detailed job description. And then that way too, if the Board of Trustees ever decided to change that job description or change the qualifications, that reference being general would just automatically update, and we wouldn't have to update the policy every time the board changed that job description. So other than that, the policy manual one, that was just basically a bunch of definitions and general terms. I did see some amendments noted on the document itself, so I think with those amendments to meet our fire district, it would be acceptable as well.
So you're good with 103, or?
103 is the policy manual one?
Yes.
Yes.
So you're good with 102 and 103?
And 101 with the amendment,
And 101 with the amendment.
with reference to our job description. But 100 we would hold off on.
Okay.
Okay.
What was the amended?
Okay, so 101 is the
Yeah.
amended part. She's good with 102 and 103. We'll hold off on 100.
Okay. So, yeah, we'll just hold off on 100. If everybody's good, we can make a motion on this at this point.
I'll make the motion that we accept policy number 101 as amended, 102 and 103.
Okay. Is there a second?
Yeah.
Second.
Any further discussion at this time?
I have a discussion point on the process as we go through all these policies. It would be great if we could have them and discuss them the meeting before, and where we could have this conversation,
Right.
take them home, review them,
Right.
have further discussion with legal, and then adopt them at the following board meeting, or at the very least, getting them a couple weeks ahead of time. I've been out of town a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
I don't know
Right.
if they came to us ahead of time, but
No, we've only had them for a couple days, but
Yeah.
they were these ones were pretty straightforward. Yeah.
So
But
just
going
in the
forward,
future,
right.
Going forward,
give
yeah.
us 30 days to look at them and make
Right.
sure that we have what we
Good
need.
point, Dan.
Yep.
Yes, legal would appreciate that as well.
Yeah. Okay, if there's
So
no,
you good with that, Dan, and these?
Oh,
these
sure.
ones? Okay.
if there's no other discussion on these, we could vote on those. Roll call, please.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Okay. I guess we could roll right into the chief's report at this point.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll start with anniversaries. Firefighter Rich Camp reached his 33 years this month.
Wow.
Yeah. Firefighter Matt Drew reached his 9th year. Financial overview, tax revenue collected is 57% of the budgeted revenue year to date. EMS revenue collected is just under 50% for the yearly projection through May. We spent 35.3% of our annual budget through May as well. Staffing overview, we did send one of our firefighters to Auburn for a job fair over there. I believe it was last week, and I got to meet some of the new recruits coming out of their programs. We do have 3 new hires in various stages of onboarding part-time. One is working shifts, the other 2 are working through their training manuals. Call volume last month, we responded to just under 300, 298 calls, which was identical, coincidentally, with April's numbers as well. 230 were EMS, 68 were fire. You can see the graph there that we're still trajecting up a little bit this year. However, the last 2 months we're definitely down. We usually typically average around 325 to 350 a month for runs. We're under 300 for the last 2, but you know how things go. The law of averages will catch up with us at some point. Fire inspections are ongoing. They're in your board folder. Vehicles, new 2147, which was the Dodge Durango. We approved, bought, and put the lights on recently. That is in service down at Station 2. However, it's awaiting its graphics package. There's still some things on back order for the striping and so on, so hopefully that'll be done in the coming weeks. However, it's good to go as far as running it in town here. Surplus request for the chargers, thank you for that. Buildings, the door and access camera system is complete. As you walk out today, you'll see the new Unify system, doorbell, camera, monitoring system out front there on the wall where the old one was. Seems to be working well. We're going through all the settings right now for the staff and admin so we can level up those features that we desire. Spring cleaning, both stations are completed. We're still working on a spot for the bell out front, so I think we got a little bit of a plan in place, so we're gonna work on that this summer with our staff, and we may need a heavy loader to kind of hold that up while we get the concrete to set at some point, so stay tuned for that. Officer recommendations. I have the Lexipol meeting on July 2nd after I get back from vacation to review what we're doing in the system. So these new policies, which are fairly basic, that'll be a nice springboard to getting people started with training in there and getting them kind of ready to go. And then we can kind of level up from there, and I will definitely get those to you a little bit earlier, especially the larger ones, obviously, and we can kick those around. Annual host testing is coming up soon. Lieutenant Sample will lead that. Hydrant testing is ongoing. It feels like we're probably halfway through that from talking with the staff. AFG grant, we're still waiting on the announcement for those, and we wrote one last year for new air packs, which is well over $200,000 for new ones for the department. We did have them serviced last week, and that was the reason for the appropriations amendment, because we found about a little over 6,000 in repairs that we didn't identify, that we didn't realize were coming and didn't know was coming because of some dry rot. So we got a couple more years to kind of get those along until we can buy new ones via either grant or we got to purchase outright. Last week, our officer corps attended. Some of them attended the East End Fire Department officer meeting. In the county, we have a lot of new young lieutenants and captains. And when I first got promoted to lieutenant 10, 12 years ago, they had started these meetings and they kind of fell off. But Painesville City Captain Morosco over there is kind of leading that group. So we're trying to get our young officers over there to meet with theirs and kind of, just get some face time outside of the emergency realm so they can come up with maybe some better policies, some better flows while they're on scene together, so that things go a little bit more fluent than not. So it sounds like it went well. Good meet and greet. And then lastly, a lad tech's going very well. We just continue to add forms to it and processes. We're working on vehicle maintenance, station maintenance, and we've added well over a dozen, maybe 24 forms since we've started. So a lot of our processes that aren't involved in the reporting system, our records management system, are going into that system with the scheduling to just keep everything tracked. So haven't really heard any grumblings from that. It seems to be going very well. So thank you again for purchasing that for us. A few more things, sorry. Training updates for June. Specialty equipment, we did ropes at Riverview Park. We got with the Metro Parks, and they allowed us to go over there and go over one of their ravines, and that was good training, especially for our new instructors that are heavily involved in ropes, plus our new staff that are very unfamiliar with some of that. So there's never enough training for those types of instances. The Sea-Doo is still on the horizon with the weather and just the way the lake is and our call volume. It can be challenging sometimes. Online traffic safety training is going on right now, which is called TIMS, Traffic Incident Management System. And then we're also working with a property owner here in town. They have 4 properties that they want to dispose of in relative ways, and we're looking to maybe try to have a live burn at one of them. At minimum, we would like to at least train inside the house for non-fire related training evolutions. I have some documents over to Ms. Dame for review as far as waivers, and so that we're covered and they're covered and everything's good to go. We participated in Pet the Trucks at the library a couple weeks ago. Roughly 200 to 300 people attended. We had all of our trucks and equipment up there, and the parents and kids loved jumping all over it and getting pictures on it and getting pictures with our staff. It's always really well received and well attended. Next year's event's already scheduled. Light Up the Park is getting preparations ready. I know the township probably has some things on their end going. I believe they're closing down the road at some point down there, so that they can have more of a presence with the food trucks and keep it a little bit safer for the pedestrians down there. So we'll have a presence there as well for a safety tent. And there was one other thing that slipped to my mind and I can't remember. But with that, I'll entertain any questions from the board.
Any questions from the board this evening for the chief? Well, thank you, Chief.
You're welcome, Mr. Chairman.
And closing public portion, is anyone on screen?
No, sir.
Thank you. Closing board comments. Well, I have just one item, gentlemen. Do we want to have our next meeting at the Station 2 because we had to move back here for this one? Would that be acceptable?
Sure.
I would entertain a motion to do so.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
What date?
Second.
July
16th.
16th
Yeah,
at
July
7 p.m., Station 2.
There we
I'm
go.
sorry, who did someone second? I might have missed it.
Not yet.
Okay, I was talking, so I thought maybe I missed it.
Okay, at this time, I would ask Stacy Dame to state her statement again about our business this evening.
Well, first, you need a second on your motion, and you need a roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
We didn't get a second on that
No.
motion?
Second.
Oh, there we go. We better vote
And we
on
better
that.
vote.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, now, Ms. Dame, if you would,
Motion to adjourn into executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 12122G3 to discuss pending litigation, and also Ohio Revised Code 12122G4 collection bargaining pending matter.
okay, do I have a motion on that?
Yeah, that motion.
A second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Time is 7:48. We will adjourn to executive session with probably no business to discuss afterwards. Okay, we met in executive session to discuss some possible litigation. And at this time, we would, it's 8:20, by the way, I'm sorry, it's 8:20. At this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, Roll call?
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Time is 8:21. Meeting's adjourned.